Dear students, so I am here with the Indian Express newspaper, and today's date is 13 November 2025. Let's begin today's session, and I am going to read all the important news in detail. Okay, so this is about the Red Fort. The first news is about the terror attack which is recently occurred in Delhi. Okay, so Union Cabinet resolution underlines zero tolerance for terror. Okay, heinous terror incident will bring the perpetrators to justice, said by government. GST effect. What is the effect of GST on retail prices? It rose means it rises just 0.25% in October, the lowest ever. Okay, the food 5% cheaper compared with the last October. Pressure on RBI to cut rates. Okay, Prime Minister suspects Umar gave wrong Delhi address to register their own car. Okay, Bihar women set a record turnout 8.8 percentage point more than men. Okay. This is the second page. It's give you the detailed explanation of the front page. So read it in detail. Okay. Blast outside Red Fort. Where is the what are the name of the places where the blast happened outside that Red Fort? Camera room at Red Fort, Chandni Chowk, Chowki. The hub as police scan through pictures from 350 cameras looking for clues. ठीक है? Where the CCTV footage lends eyes to probe. Understand DNA. Okay, tell me the full form of DNA. STR profiling. DNA samples of Dr. Umar's mother taken. How genetic analysis can establish identity. Why investigators are tracking ammonium nitrate link between Delhi blast and Faridabad Hall. Okay, these are the two places I will highlight where mainly the blast happened. I think it's the Delhi as Red Fort area and it's the area of Faridabad Hall. And the attackers mainly using the chemical which is ammonium nitrate. This is written here, okay? Al Falha University distances itself from doctor accused in terror module case. This is about the city. Air Quality Index AQI stands for where the severe, okay, for second day highest spike in stubble burning share so far. Supreme Court asked Punjab and Haryana to file report on steps taken to curb farm fire. Okay, confession not reliable, reliable. ठीक है जो भरोसा के लायक नहीं reliable. Why Supreme Court acquitted Kohli? Hmm. Kohli walks out of jail after 19 years. Surinder Kohli was released from Kashna jail. Okay. Wagyu. The Wag, where Haryana right body on probe into Tits bonded labor case. Supreme Court release of lawyer held in murder case linked to Kapil Sangwan's gang. Apex Court relies on its last week's rule. This is about the politics. We're deeply grateful to the Indian people for welcoming me warmly, said by Hasina. I think it's about the Sheikh Hasina. Bangladesh, the former PM of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Bangladesh can't want remain in this state will rise again. Okay, it's about the Bangladesh. PM Narendra Modi joined Bhutan King Jigme Khesar, okay, and his wife at the Grand Quenray Hall in Thimphu on Wednesday. India reaffirms its support to Bhutan's 13th five-year plan. Remember, Okay, it's a Bhutan's 13th five-year plan. And tell me the five-year plan. What are the number of five-year plan which is recently running in India? Okay, I think it's 13 or 14th. Amid government formation, Bush, senior BJP leader in Manipur. Election Commission eases BLA appointment rule. TMC says it will be benefit BJP in SIR. SIR 2. Election Commission says 72% voters have got forms. Okay. House panel on bills for removal of jailed missions minister setup. This is about the nation where three arrested last week over alleged plot to use lethal toxin, resin plot, chemicals, raw material found at doctor house. Two accused had studied at same madrasa in Muzaffarnagar. India Botswana announces what cheetah translocation pact. Jamaat premises searched in valley sweep devices and documents seized. India's ninth among country worst hit by climate disaster in last 30 years. Means India is in top 10. In what condition in climate disasters? And this report is released by whom? I think it's by UNESCO or whom? Okay. Chidambaram, we should ask ourselves what turns educated Indians into terrorists. Two latest exit polls point to NDA win. Tejasvi predictions 160 plus opposition bloc. This is also about the nation where the Chhattisgarh century limits to be altered to tackle Maoist threat. Okay, the Jharkhand, the state Chhattisgarh, these are the places of Maoist. A lot of Maoist people are there, and they fight for their rights. Okay, and they demand something from the government, and these are the things that I know about the Maoist. So it's about this news is about the Chhattisgarh century where they limit the tackle of Maoist threat. Okay, terrorism biggest enemy of Jammu and Kashmir youth for 3 decades. LG Manoj Sinha. Andhra eyes $1 trillion investment in 5 years job creations. Lokesh, Andhra Pradesh Prime Minister Nara Lokesh, okay, addresses a press conference in New Delhi on Wednesday. Okay, Infosys prize for research on Prakrits DNA renewal. Okay, high blood pressure among minor nearly doubled in 20 years. Okay, this is the important news in context of health of young youth. Prevalence increase from 3.2 in 2000 is more than 6.2 in 2020, says study. Regular screening needed, a key driver of increase. Okay, nearly 19%. Okay, healthy sedentary lifestyle research says. So, how these BP and the increase of BP can affect the young youths, the Gen Zs? Let's read. The prevalence of high blood pressure is in children and adolescent nearly doubled. Okay, as per the report, where approximately the data is written there from 3% approx to 6% under 19. This is the age under 19. Although halanki there is a no India specific data. Study author Dr. PZ Song from Zhejiang University School of Medicine, China, told Indian Express about this report. Okay, so this is the report given by the China to Indian Express newspaper. Okay, I mean to say the Indian Express press. so that so that we all get the idea of increase in BP among the minors. Okay, so many characters seen of such countries. India is a part of World Health Organization and Southeast Asian region, okay, which reported the highest prevalence of isolated diastolic hypertension at 2.7% compared to other region. Okay, so isolated high BP where only the diastolic number is elevated while the systolic number remain normal. Okay, so the metadata analysis and the large studies involving more than 443,000 across 21 countries. The study suggests obesity is a substantial driver of increasing in childhood hypertension, as nearly 19% of children and adolescents with obesity have hypertension, 8 times higher than prevalence of hypertension in those considered to be of healthy weight. Around 8% of children and adolescents now have pre-hypertension, a warning signal of potential progression to hypertension, which could lead to serious health issues, including cardiovascular and kidney disease, if not addressed. Okay, so everything and every data is written here, and they mainly says that the lack of monitoring data where regular screening at school colleges can detect such conditions early and start definitive treatment immediately. So, the onset of potentially dangerous complications of the heart, brain, and kidney, he said. Okay. So, the research highlight that condition have masked by hypertension, and hypertension is not detected through routine checkup. Okay. So, the data gaps persist particularly for out of office blood pressure monitoring, such as ambulatory or home BP assessment, which remain underutilized. Okay, in this SCAR reason, the under score the need for enhanced data collection effort to better capture the true burden of childhood hypertension in India. Dr. Song said. So UP sugarcane story gets sweeter with record price hike. This is the another news. Okay, it's about the sugarcane industries, and the last page, last slide is about the nation, where a lot of things we know, and all the news are important from today's session. Okay, this is the editorial page where it explains the promises given was a necessity of the past, the world broken is a necessity of the present. Okay, lower tax. What the author Rajani Singh Sinha want to tell us that the lower taxes per buying, but jobs and income will have to grow. Inflation slumps, but waited for GDP data. There is likely to be some moderation in growth in the second half of the year as India's export feel the pinch of high US tariff. Okay, so the Indian economy, let's read it in a skimming way. I'm not going to read each and every line in detail, but I just want to read it in a skimming way so that you get the idea what is written here and what is the main thing that the authoress, I'm sorry, I told author, but it's authoress, what she want to tell us. Okay, it's about the Indian economy and the challenging phase. What type of challenges faced by the Indian economy? These are the questions that is raised by and the answers given by the authoress. Okay, so it has been pushed into a corner. The Indian economy is pushed into a corner with one of the highest reciprocal tariff imposed by US. Okay, so the government on its part has been trying to push up domestic demand through lower income tax and GST rates. Okay, so the inflation and good monsoon that are expected to keep overall domestic consumption healthy. The GDP growth, which is expected by IMF and the World Bank is about approx about 6.6% or 6.4%. We already read about the data. Okay, so the critical question at this point is that once the festive demand taper, will the economy be able to maintain the growth momentum in the midst of global threat? Okay, a good monsoon and increase in minimum support price MSP for Rabi and Kharif crops have supported rural sentiments. The indicator which strongly tractor sales, a peak up in two-wheeler sales, a revival in government spending on agriculture. This all things shows healthy growth of farm sector. Okay, read from here to here. It shows that there is healthy growth of farm sector in the second quarter of this year. Okay, so everything is written here and how it implement this. So the manufacturing sector also demonstrated good performance as reflected in improvement in indicators such as steel, IIP for manufacturing. Okay, so the service sector performance remained mixed, while indicators such as e-way, bill generation, and toll revenue improved and shows moderation. India's good export have seen strong growth, largely due to front loading ahead of tariff implementation. So India's non-oil goods export grew by 7%, and the electronic export, here about the non-oil goods, and here about the electronic exports, it also grows. It's 10% to the India's good export, and strongly robustness is strong, 40% period under review, and that support the overall export momentum. Okay, so this month the items like jewels, gems, leather footwears, adverse effect of high US tariff. Okay, so India's good export to US fell by 12%, which continued to record high growth. Okay, so the big savior of India in its service export, which have been recording healthy growth even in midst of all global turmoil. So this is the main data. I already read each and everything and how the foreign direct investment FII, okay, flows through the tariffs and the growth which is recently seen in the Indian economy. Okay, due to the lower of the GST rates. So there are some external factors which also affect the GST rates, and these all reduction the income tax burden on from the consumer's mind. Okay, so the high frequency indicators looking good were 7.2% first quarter. However, there is likely to be some moderation in growth in the second half of the year as India's export feel the pinch of US tariff. Okay, we expect GDP to moderate around 6.3%, half a full year growth in 6.9%. Okay, so these all things says that the lowest due to the change in the GST and that GST 2.2 that benefit all the consumer, but in the some sectors it shows some demerits also. Means if the economy is going to change something, from that change there are a lot of pros and cons. So these all thing is written here. Okay, this is by the author. So let's move on to the another one where inflation slumps but wait for GDP data. Delhi Thimphu warmth can help fight China chill and erosion of civility in the classroom. Grab 3 won't fix Delhi pollution, only we can. This is the idea page. This is about the nation where Mumbai ACB names judicial officer in graft case after clerk caught taking bribe. Okay, Assam opposition leader meet Amit Buz of New Bloc. Maharashtra man hide true income, High Court hike ex-wife's maintenance. Okay. Finally, we are at the economy page, and it all says about the conflict of interest, SEBI planned suggestion, public disclosure of assessed for chairman, whole time member. MSME seeks loan moratorium for unit hurt by US tariff. To boost the competitiveness of manufacturers, MSME also pitched for measures to assist in upgradation of machinery and easier access to credit. Okay. So Demo's CV arm of Tata Motor list on Borer says Cabinet approved new royalty rate for four critical minerals. What led to Chinese crypto queen being sent to prison in UK? Okay, it's all about economy. Okay, this is about the world. Read it in detail. You will get a lot of idea that was what is happening in the world. So it's about the economy. Read the explain page also. It's also the important slide of today's newspaper. In every day's newspaper, where economy, Tokyo tutorial countering China's rare earth shock. Japan's self-reliance packing package key thrust areas. Okay, the bill that could end longest ever government shutdown in the US. Okay, so these all are the important news. So I'm going to end today's session. So thank you for watching. If you have any doubt, then please comment down. I will definitely